Do you feel you have evidence to tell us, to share with us, that Joe Biden, President Biden, actually benefited from this influence peddling scheme that you're referring to?
Absolutely.
Do Republicans understand the difference between evidence and proof? And do they care? That's the question that we should have in mind as we talk about the forthcoming discussion that happened, forthcoming on the program that happened yesterday on the Fox News channel. You know, if you sort of put your finger to the wind, the general feeling, the general environment when it comes to the Hunter Biden and especially the Joe Biden alleged criminality story, impeachment, prosecution, lock them up, all of that stuff, it seems like a deflated balloon. It seems like a womp womp sort of situation because after years of this supposed inquiry, informally and more recently, more formally, they still have no evidence of criminality by Joe Biden. Now, I know a lot of people say, David, that doesn't matter. They don't care about evidence of criminality. They're putting on a show at the tail end of which, you know, the pot at the end of the proverbial rainbow is we are now ready to impeach President Joe Biden. But it really has been deflated when it comes to the facts. And one of the primary nodes of disinformation and humiliation, to be honest, has been Republican Congressman James Comer. How many times have we seen Jamie, as so many of his fellow Republicans call him, appear on some such program, often on Fox News, many times with Trump brown-noser Maria Bartiromo, and be asked a simple question like, do you have any evidence? Do you have any evidence Biden committed a crime? If so, what crime? Do you have any evidence of specific policies that Biden changed in order to help whoever was paying him? And the answer is always some version of no. That's different in this particular clip. In this clip, you will hear James Comer say to Maria Bartiromo that he absolutely has evidence that Biden benefited from influence peddling, but then he won't actually cite any of it. Let's listen to it. Let's watch it. Then we will talk a little bit about the difference between evidence and proof and facts and these sorts of concepts, which have proven quite elusive for the modern right-winger.
Together. So tell us right here, right now, do you feel you have evidence?
By the way, do you feel is funny. Do you feel, do you feel a tingle down your leg that you have what you need? What about the facts, sir?
To tell us, to share with us that Joe Biden, President Biden, actually benefited from this influence peddling scheme that you're referring to.
Absolutely. Joe Biden got 2 payments. We've already disclosed that came from Jim Biden as a result of the influence peddling schemes. Now, the White House and the media try to claim those were loans. Okay, let's say they were loans. They weren't, but let's say they were. For the sake of argument, Jim Biden never could have paid that $250,000 back to Joe were it not for the influence peddling schemes. The one with AmeriCorps Health that netted $200,000 to Joe Biden, and the one from China that netted $40,000 to Joe Biden. So Joe Biden benefited to the tune of $250,000. We've proved
together.
It's, you know, you have to hand it to them. They're completely morally bankrupt. They're substantively vapid. They offer nothing. But you have to hand it to them that when James Comer sort of wraps all of that together, it kind of sounds like a coherent narrative, yet it's nothing more than conjecture and hyperbole. The evidence he cites of Biden benefiting from influence peddling is that Jim Biden gave money to Joe Biden. Now, Comer goes on to say, if that was just a loan repayment, fine, but that's still a problem because it was money that Jim Biden repaid with money he made thanks to Biden's influence peddling. There's no evidence of any of that. So when he says we have evidence, all they have is a photograph of a check of Jim Biden giving Joe Biden money. That doesn't implicate China. It doesn't implicate bribery. It doesn't implicate influence peddling. It doesn't implicate Hunter Biden. It doesn't do any of those things. And then Comer comes in and says, well, and we know that those were monies that Jim Biden got through the help of Biden's influence. They don't have any evidence of that. And you really have to understand that Actions, evidence, and proof are all very different things. You might consider that like evidence are pieces of a puzzle. First, you've got just like actions. Oh, I got a loan. I withdrew $2,500 from the bank. I sent a check. I had a meeting. Okay, those are actions. Some of those actions we might call evidence if they were relevant to a particular matter. Now, evidence, by the way, evidence can either prove or disprove or do neither with regard to a particular claim. So in this case, we say the claim is Biden made money personally by changing policy in order to be useful either to the companies that were paying him or paying Hunter or paying Jim Biden. That's like generically speaking what they're alleging. That's what they want to prove. When they say the evidence is Jim Biden gave Joe Biden money, that's not evidence one way or the other with regard to their claim that there's criminality, that there's bribery, that there's influence peddling, or whatever the case may be. Just the fact that a thing happened isn't proof or disproof of the main allegation that you're making, and actions can be completely irrelevant. It's like, hey, we looked at his credit card statement. He buys ice cream all the time. Okay, that's a fact. It's certainly not proof, and I wouldn't even call it evidence related to the claims that are being made. So here's one more clip, and James Comer's totally shot out of a cannon. He says, as far as the impeachment investigation, that they're getting close to criminal referrals. It's like, dude, what on earth are you talking about?
But we're going to give Hunter Biden an opportunity. I'm not sure he won't show up, Maria. There have been 2 times where he showed up when he said he wasn't going to show up to have a publicity stunt with the mainstream media to attack me and say that we didn't want to have a transparent public hearing. Well, that's going to be this week, and I fully expect Hunter Biden to show up. If he does not show up, then it's not going to end well for the Bidens, because we have 3 witnesses that are testifying, that have already testified under oath to significantly different.
They've testified under an oath. That's interesting.
Stories as to what exactly the Biden influence peddling schemes were. This is very serious because we're at the point now of criminal referrals.
Yeah.
Criminal referrals, meaning you are going to refer these people for criminal action. How many criminal referrals are you expecting to make?
Well, there are going to be multiple criminal referrals. Look, we've spent a year.
These people are so pathetic. I mean, it's like, just keep talking, dude. Okay. At some point, show us evidence that proves your claims. Then we'll take it seriously. And Maria Bartiromo continues to entertain this. Fox News continues to entertain it. If you want to talk about evidence, all the evidence points to there is nothing there.